Good evening. Something scary happened yesterday, something science fiction buffs have been telling us for years was going to happen. A satellite with a nuclear reactor aboard fell out of the sky.
We were out on patrol, and I looked out to the northwest and observed almost a fireball, and it had a tailing edge on it, which was appeared to be dropping material out of the sky or burning in the sky.
Deep in the remote wilderness of northern Canada, two nuclear scientists are hunting for Cosmos 954, a Soviet spy satellite that crash-landed here 40 years ago.
Hey, Taylor, I'm on my way to you.
Copy that. Thanks, Carl.
Hey, Taylor, where are you?
I'm back in the woods here.
Yo, Taylor! We've traveled all over the world hunting for parts of nuclear weapons, the remnants of the Manhattan Project, and all these things.
Cosmos contained a small reactor that Taylor Wilson and Carl Willis believe holds secrets that could help them with their own atomic ambitions.
Understanding what can go wrong in nuclear power is important if you're going to try to make nuclear power better in the future.
And now they'll embark on an arduous mission across 500 square miles of brutal terrain.
My hopes are high. We have a real chance of finding something. It's small, but the chance is real.
To find a piece of nuclear fuel that's been in the core of a nuclear reactor out here in an environment like this really is kind of the holy grail of radioactive hunting.
When a single pursuit becomes an obsession.
The thing about passion is you don't summon it, it's just there.
When curiosity turns into an adventure.
We came a long way for this opportunity.
Needle in a haystack, and it's a big haystack.
Let's do it.
When an appetite for discovery takes us into the unknown.
Oh my God.
How's it looking?
I got a hit here.
I would rather do this than do anything else.
Some of us were born to hunt.
I'm gonna keep doing it until I'm dead.
And there's no telling how far we'll go.
We're on our way to have an adventure.
I want to cause a fire. I do not want it to explode. That's the last thing I would want.
Working out of a high-tech lab in his Nevada garage, Taylor is not your average neighbor.
This is a lamp that we're developing to kill coronavirus, one of the new species of bacteria that we've discovered. A very high-intensity pulsed TEA, transversely excited atmospheric laser. My first fusion reactor when I produced fusion when I was 14.
From childhood, Taylor has obsessed over radioactivity, and his extraordinary aptitude and dedication has launched a career in nuclear science.
I feel really lucky that I found what I wanted to do when I was 10 years old. You know, we all, as kids, as babies, are born naturally curious about our world, about our environment. It's very primal. I mean, it's something instinctual to search for the unknown, to, go past that horizon and see what human eyes haven't seen before and get answers to questions that didn't previously have answers. I'm lucky that I get to have a career where my job is curiosity.
Now Taylor's most vital mission is to develop a safe nuclear reactor that can unlock the carbon-free benefits of nuclear power without the risk of meltdown.
I had hit upon something that I think has this huge potential to change the world. This is a small modular reactor. Maybe 25,000 to 100,000 homes could run off that.
The catch is that an incredibly similar modular reactor design has been lost to the secrecy of Soviet-era Russia.
The search for Cosmos 954. Unlike most falling satellites that completely burn up when they re-enter, Cosmos 954 survived its fiery crashdown and broke into hundreds of fragments that scattered over the frozen land.
Obviously, there are a lot of mysteries about the design of the satellite. It was designed during the height of the Cold War by the Soviet Union. Some answers to the construction of these reactors is lost to history, some is lost to, military secrecy. We were monitoring this, the United States and the Canadians, pretty much from the time that it was launched. We knew this thing had a nuclear reactor on board, and as soon as we got wind that this thing was out of control, obviously that raised a lot of concern. If this thing had come down just a few orbits earlier, it could have come down over the heartland of the United States. But in this case, it happened to come down over an admittedly sparsely populated area, and that necessitated this mission called Operation Morning Light.
Despite sending an army to clear up the hazardous radioactive debris in the dead of winter, Operation Morning Light only found a tiny percentage of the satellite.
The mystery here is, are there pieces of the satellite still left in the Canadian tundra?
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. There it goes. That's always impressive to see.
Along for the ride is Taylor's friend and fellow nuclear fanatic, Carl.
Me and Carl have been doing these kind of hunts for years now. We met when I was probably 10 or 11 years old.
I was living out in New Mexico, and Taylor got in touch with me because he was going to come out and I think look for radioactive rocks. He came out with his dad, and we went out to Poison Canyon, and we just had a field day of it. When I was 10 years old, I was right on the cusp of wanting to blow up a lot of stuff and make big Tesla coils. And during that trip, I realized that Taylor was very much a kindred spirit, and that he would probably continue that connection for the rest of our lives.
We've hunted down pieces of lost nuclear weapons. We've hunted down nuclear accidents. We've been all over the world. There are very few people that I can relate to about this kind of stuff on that level.
This is the KMLs that I just sent you.
Yes.
I think we probably will save some time if we pre-identify places that the boat can actually
land.
Yeah,
I think that's a good idea. So obviously you don't go into a mission like this blindfolded. It's literally between both our parts, me and Carl, years worth of research, poring over literally every piece of information we can get ourselves, our hands on. We've dove into archives from the Canadian Ministry of Defense, from the US Department of Energy, NORAD, and the United States Air Force, and we've looked for any bit or scrap of information that might help us find a piece of the satellite.
I'm a light packer, as you can see.
We've kind of been able to refine our tools. We have very advanced instruments, but even the most advanced instrument, if you haven't used it in the field before and you're not familiar with it, it's useless.
So I got my Eberlein ASP-1, a standard Geiger counter for starters.
Very nice.
And it makes a pop sound each time it detects radiation.
I kind of like that noise.
Right, yeah.
Let's go see some of the things I brought.
You've got the best toys, man.
Mind the mess, it's a little messy in here.
Holy shit, what is all this? You can put the towels right outside the door and they pick them up. I mean, it looks like something is violating the mass energy equivalence here with respect to oatmeal, and you haven't done anything about it. There's 20 pounds of oatmeal on the floor in this room. What a fucking dump.
All right.
You brought a whole lot of clothes.
Well, 3 weeks up here.
That's extensive. That's what they call a wardrobe. I think we could all get dressed for a week based on the clothes you brought, though. I mean...
Okay, yeah, but you brought like 2 shirts and 2 pairs of pants for 3 weeks?
That's right. Well, you just rinse it out and wring it out,
Carl's a crazy guy. I mean, I don't know anyone else that showers with his clothes on to clean them. But, that's kind of what makes him, all the more interesting as a person, those quirks of his personality. I don't think you can get away from that when you hunt radioactive things for a hobby.
Try it like that. You got to do it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
This is exciting. We're getting out of here. We're on our way to have an adventure. We'll be there by 8, and a lot of flying to do between now and then.
Taylor and Carl have dreamt of this opportunity for years, and it's not been easy to find time in their busy lives to spend a week in the middle of nowhere. So they have recruited a wilderness expert to give them a fighting chance of survival in one of the most hostile natural environments on the planet.
Hey, PB. Hey, how's it going?
Morning, Taylor. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So we're really going to be a needle in the haystack.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
My favorite kind.
Yeah.
I think we're as prepared as we'll ever be. This is the culmination of a lot of experience and preparation. We have the best equipment we possibly can, so we're heading out into an adventure that's a fantastic opportunity to find stuff.
It's definitely, without a doubt, the most remote and rugged expedition I've ever conducted. So we've made home base for this mission Ethan Island, which is on the eastern arm of Great Slave Lake, one of the largest lakes in the world. You know, this boundary between boreal forest and tundra, you know, just outside the Arctic Circle, in a region that's covered by just absolutely oppressive snowfall, snow cover for a good portion of the year. Smooth as could be.
That was a butter landing. That was awesome.
Right at the spot.
Fantastic.
Well, thanks for the ride. There she goes.
Well, man, here we are.
Here we are. We're out here.
Fresh meat for the bears.
Yep. It's our only ride out of here. They don't come back for us. Let's see here.
All right.
So you're saying there's a creek here somewhere, correct?
Yes, so this creek.
We're not naive about the scope and expanse of the place that we're going to be searching. I mean, the fall trajectory of the satellite is, you know, hundreds and hundreds of miles. But we've mapped out every place where a piece of radioactive debris was recovered. And mapping out this debris field, we've been able to basically create a density map, you know, where were more hits found than others. And using that map, we've kind of identified a few places that might be worth searching. Well, it seems like this natural drainage here is a good starting place. Yeah, think we can do it?
Yes, I truly believe we can do it.
All right, sounds good.
It's gonna be awesome.
Good to go. Let's do it. You doing good, Taylor?
Yeah, I'm great back here. Jesus Christ.
We were walking out in the marshy, mossy woods, and we were going in a straight line, basically. Not able to see more than a few feet in front of us.
Metal detector's useless.
So when searching for hot stuff, you really have to walk back and forth in a sort of regular fashion, and we were not able to swing the detector over a large amount of ground, so we were limited in our search area. We are 500 meters as the crow flies from where we started. So we're doing about half a kilometer per hour. Our feet are sinking into this moss, and it's difficult terrain. Uh-oh, you got stuck. And so it's just real spongy.
Oof. Feel like you're a little bit like Christmas tree right now.
Yeah.
So what can we do to help you a little bit? That you're gonna lose 100% certs.
Oh.
And you kind of like it, I think.
There we go.
All right, we'll try that.
Gets the job done.
As long as you're happy.
Well, what's this?
That sounds hot.
It does. That's a hit.
It's different than the normal, just statistical noise. It's definitely elevated.
All right.
I think we take that topsoil as a sample.
We should be able to identify if it's a point source or it's a small piece of debris that's hot versus just a general area of elevated background. We should be able to see that.
Taylor, you want to put down the...
Yeah, I'll pull a spectrum.
Oh, see, there we go.
It's just one of those weird coincidences of fate, but this satellite happened to fall in one of actually the most naturally radioactive places I can imagine, which is northern Canada. This area, this wonder of prehistoric geology, is actually very rich in natural radioactivity. That is potentially a peak there, about 600 and some odd keV. And so being able to discern that natural radioactivity, uranium, thorium, potassium in the ground, from man-made radioactivity will be really the most important part of this whole search.
Even though the hit has some intriguing signatures, neither Taylor nor Carl think it's a piece of the Cosmos reactor, which is what they need.
We understand that 99 out of 100 hits that we find are going to be natural radioactivity. Just because the Geiger counter is going up doesn't mean that we found a piece of the satellite. Now, with that said, you get that little bit of excitement. This could be it, but I think we're all very measured in our expectations. All right, we're only gonna stop for the most promising hits.
That was perfection.
Very tired.
I'm sorry if it was not as rich as you thought it would be.
We did get a sample. We can't call it a failure by any means, but...
Well, I lost the spray mechanism.
The next step is just to douse it over his entire...
I'm getting there.
We have to keep trying. We have to keep trying. Oh,
yeah,
goodness.
Be careful.
Yeah.
So guys, we're looking for flat spots.
This is not a bad area here. I mean,
no, it's not a bad area.
Definitely got plenty of moss.
So are you gonna share, guys?
How many people have to share tents?
Everybody but me.
Okay.
You don't want to share a tent with me.
There we go. Get this ground.
Oh, the bugs are oppressive.
Not yet.
Like that.
Sure, yeah. So you said the bugs will get worse?
Yes.
Ah, man.
Awesome, looking good.
Yeah, I think we're there. Yeah, I'm gonna want more bug spray. We're eating good tonight. We keep calling it a needle in a haystack, and to find that needle, we're just gonna have to go through a lot of hay, and hopefully we'll find something.
I mean, I want a chunk here, man. I don't want a soil sample, I want a freaking chunk.
If only the satellite fragments were as common as the mosquitoes. Come on up here, Carl.
Whoa.
How's it looking?
I got a hit here.
Oh, wow, I'm coming down. Sounds spicy.
It immediately jumped, but this is enough of a hit that I'm thinking it might be thorium.
Could be thorium, yeah. Yeah, that's on up there.
60,000.
For background, that's definitely.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think we're still not looking at satellite stuff here.
We think of radiation and radioactivity as this very man-made thing, but radioactivity is a very natural phenomenon. These radioactive elements were produced in stellar explosion billions of years ago. They were deposited on Earth, and they're still clicking along today. And in some ways, the most potent radioactive source that the average person is likely to encounter is completely natural. Yep, I think it's a massive piece of radioactive rock. But wouldn't it have been crazy to be standing here 40 years ago? People that have seen it said, you know, that you could see this thing, this bright red thing shooting through the sky with little bits and pieces flying off.
If you didn't have a radiation detector, you could walk up to what looked like a little black rock on the ground, but something that could kill you in a matter of minutes.
And that is what is so cool and interesting, I think, about what we do. You know, we use these instruments, these Geiger counters, to detect radiation that you can't see with the naked eye. So it's almost like a superpower, right? I mean, to most people, these things look like another average rock or another average piece of metal. But with our detectors, we're able to identify this whole kind of unseen world with these pieces of otherwise ordinary looking stuff.
With their technical superpowers at hand, Taylor and Carl have not yet been able to come across a piece of cosmos still radioactive, although less dangerously so, on their hunt thus far. So the team calls for backup. Bob is a fisherman who traveled for hours to reach them. Traveling by boat will be key to expanding the radius of their search.
And the rain starts falling.
Yep.
So right here is where the hottest piece of the satellite was found, on the ice.
The satellite came down at the height of the Cold War, during a decade-long arms race, which had everyone in perpetual fear of nuclear war. But the Cold War was not just about nuclear brinkmanship. It was a constant battle for technological supremacy.
It's crazy to think about this period of time in human history where literally the best and the brightest on both sides were in this gamesmanship of who could create the best technology to spy on the enemy, to have some type of asymmetrical advantage over the enemy. You know, so many technologies we take for granted today, like, you know, the GPS in our phones, the GPS we're using to navigate out here, is directly a byproduct of the Cold War.
Cosmos 954 was one of the most advanced spy satellites of its time. Understandably, the Soviets wanted to reveal as little as possible about their technology. So when it came down, the US and Canada scrambled to find the reactor, not only to try to mitigate the radiation risk, but because they coveted its technology. And now, decades later, Taylor wants to understand Cosmos's workings as well.
Personally, I have a responsibility to learn as much as I can about accidents and the history of negative consequences of nuclear technology, such that, you know, if we create a new generation of nuclear technology, we do it in a way that is free of accidents, that's free of human harm, that's free of proliferation.
And for Taylor, getting to the bottom of how on earth the Soviets managed to power an entire satellite using such a compact reactor could provide the knowledge he needs to significantly advance his invention.
On any of these shorelines, I think it would be good for us to land and go hunt on foot.
Everybody be very careful on the rocks. The rocks will be very slippery. Like extremely slippery.
Well, I brought the best loafers money can buy.
Yeah, Carl's choice of footwear was interesting.
Brace for that impact. There we go.
All right, nice landing.
Yeah, awesome.
All right. Thanks for the ride over. Too many damn carabiners, man. Like this. All right. Oh yeah, it's slippery.
I think we're about to get hit by rain.
Yep.
I feel it coming.
I see it coming. Like it's about to get torrential.
Okay. I'm keeping my equipment safe here from the rain because I know there's some unprotected high voltage cables here, and when it starts doing this, I just, you know, hunker down to protect my gear. Weather today has been intense rain followed by sunshine, followed by intense rain, followed by sunshine. So it's very unpredictable.
I'm wet and my instruments are wet, and I don't think either of us are very happy. We're gonna go try to do some fishing, try to find a different spot, and maybe we'll have better weather.
So we're gonna go fishing right here where that hottest spot was found, and that's how we'll commemorate our visit to the location. You like this idea?
Well, I don't think the hottest spot is the best place to catch lunch.
Oh, why not? What's wrong with that?
Anyway, let's catch some fish.
Oh, man. Oh, he's fighting. Yeah, I see him. Man, that guy's strong. There you go. There we go. Oh, fantastic. Wow. Whew. Now, should I be proud of this, or is this a...
It's a nice fish. He fought hard.
I would say so.
He's the most important fish of the day.
That's right.
Sticks first.
We're now having a shore lunch of fish two different ways. We caught the fish in the spot where the most radioactive piece of this satellite was recovered. I should really bring my scintillator over and check it, I suppose, just to put people at ease. But I'm very much looking forward to this lunch. Even if it were really radioactive, I would eat it with gusto because we've been struggling this morning with the weather. I'd eat it if it were 500 R per hour, I think.
The radioactive fish two ways hit the spot, but it's not long before their moods are dampened once more by stormy weather. The incessant rain has not only chilled their bones and crushed their spirits, but it's seeped into their electronics, making the hunt impossible.
I think the sun's about to come out again, honestly. Oh, God damn it. Whew. Oh yeah, try to bite that, boys. Just looking at the back of my hand, which is going to be about the size of a cantaloupe in the morning. Oh, there he is.
Good morning. Sorry about that.
No problem. No bears, I hope?
Well, we had one coming down the hill, then on the beach. Then I think he was heading towards here. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Sorry, he's bigger than the one yesterday. Oh, bear! Huh, huh. Well, we sighted a bear on the second beach. It was about, let's say, 30 feet, 35 feet right on our left. So by blasting the horn, he just changed course, went up in the tree line just above us, but then started to circle again. So that's why we popped 2 bangers, just to make him aware we're here and that we know he's here.
We had a bear run through the camp, so PB's told us to go ahead and pack up the camp and get everything down on the beach.
Bear spray, so bear mace on it, okay? Pretty straightforward, aim, and you push, kind of like repeating fryers. Whoosh, whoosh, right? Big advice, make sure the wind is back to you. If it's coming back to your face, you're just like a big spicy sausage, right? Keep it always with you if you go to the washroom, okay?
When people are taking a dump, are they particularly vulnerable in that moment to bear attack?
The elements are conspiring against our hunters. The overfamiliar bear forced them to break down camp. While trying to wait out yet another downpour, valuable time has been lost.
So we basically need to build one up.
I know I have a corner there and a corner there. Obviously, it's a multi-talented tool.
Okay, guys?
Okay.
Watch out. Like waving the American flag, yeah?
That's right. Yeah, buddy. Awesome.
Nice job, guys.
Cool.
All right. Again, yay.
Now we're talking.
Well, it looks like a camp again.
Well, hey, at least these guys help provide ventilation with their wings. It sounds like a distant air conditioning unit running. I've taken breaths where I've inhaled probably 2 or 3 of these things in the same breath, one up each nostril. I'm not getting out of the tent. Now, I guess the big question is, where do you think we can go today?
How's the forecast looking?
Well, we got quite a big wind coming across from the southwest. So that would probably keep us away from all of this stuff.
I see. So we'd want to focus on areas that are more north and east of where we are.
Right.
Okay.
There are new coastlines to explore, unreachable by foot. Clear skies give our hunters new opportunity, if they can overcome the exhaustion.
Well, that was the phrase that kept popping in my head as we, planned to do this, needle in a haystack, and yeah, it's a big haystack. I think it's the underlying rock. We have a sample. It might not be a very good sample, but we have it. Nope, down I go. This is tough terrain. It's wooded, it's mossy, it's buggy, it's filled with all kinds of creatures that probably would prefer that I not be there. Jesus Christ. It's excitement, but it's also mixed with a certain sinking realization that like this is not going to be as easy as I thought it was going to be. We're doing everything we can to find this thing. We're right now going down the coastline and it's rocky. We're up and down, but we're giving it everything we can. We have the instruments out and going full bore on it. I don't know, not optimistic.
Knowing that the plane is coming to get them in the morning, Taylor and Carl decide to give things one final push. They head to another spot they haven't searched yet, the high western ridge of the island.
We have to have our minds in the game. We can't have our minds on, whether it feels good right now, whether we're getting, fly blown right now, whether we're getting dehydrated right now, whether our face is going to peel off tomorrow because we're getting sunburned right now. This is about living in the moment, putting our resources and our energy on the line to get this done, to find something. We came a long way for this opportunity, and I don't want to squander it.
You only got one shot, one opportunity. You know what that's a reference to?
I believe that's an Eminem song.
Rock, big rock right there. Right?
I think we still have a chance, believe me. If we go up on the clear areas over on that hill, it's still out there and still beckoning for us to come find it. I think that's the best and most reasonable thing we can do if we're going to give this one final push.
We'll give it a shot.
Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Hey, Taylor?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I've got something in the hole with my scintillator, and I'm...
It's kind of interesting.
That's awesome. I'm on my way. What you got?
Well, I just got a little localized hit, and I'm trying to dig it out.
Yeah, it's definitely hot in that hole.
I don't want to get out the dynamite quite yet.
Can I help you guys?
Well, yeah, sure,
wait,
possibly.
Wait.
But,
Give me 1 second.
okay. There you go.
Hey, that's promising.
That's the hottest thing we found the whole trip.
Really?
Am I in danger if I put my head in there?
No.
Or?
Oh, hell no. More people should put their heads in radioactive holes.
Yeah, right.
80, going on 90, 96.
Holy shit.
Oh, it's screaming.
I gotta go up a range.
Holy cow, what are we up to?
Looks like it's on its way to 200 counts per second right there.
Oh, this is exciting.
Yep, higher, higher, higher.
Hey, we haven't stopped going up, so.
Right.
So what was the highest count rate you saw on the hottest rock?
Oh, that was like 60. So this is 200 something. We may need to go back to the camp and get the dynamite.
It's fun, isn't it? This is crazy.
It's still as high as it was?
Yeah, it's close.
Oh, wow.
Yep, I think it's ready.
This contraption is called an isotope identifier, and in a nutshell, It knows the difference between naturally occurring radioactivity and man-made. After 180 seconds, it will be able to determine conclusively whether this radiation spike is coming from cosmos or not.
Here's the manual ID. There it goes. 180 seconds to learn what we got.
So
this is the moment of truth.
Yeah, this is it natural? Is it artificial? If it's artificial, is it a fission product? Is it uranium-235, which would be nuclear fuel? So this is the moment of truth for us. So.
Got a lot buggier down here, didn't it? All right, we got an ID.
All righty. Let's bring it out. We have, it is identified, naturally occurring radioactive material, radium-226. Radium is a decay product of uranium-238, but it doesn't occur quickly in uranium-238. It takes tens of thousands of years for radium to build up. And so what we are seeing is this is uranium in this rock, but it is not enriched uranium. It is not from a reactor.
It's not a piece of the satellite, but it's a decently active uranium ore deposit.
Let's see, I'll get a sample bag ready if we can do this.
I thought this would be a piece of the satellite for sure. It's weird that the rest of this rock is not radioactive. There's tons of it around. Why that spot? Life's great enduring mysteries.
Yep. This one's going home.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. That's what I wanted. I just knew when we were going down this hole it was going to be a piece of the satellite, but I don't know. All right.
Well, we went and did something crazy again.
Yeah. Did you ever imagine you'd be out here right now a couple months ago?
No, and that's what's so fun about, getting to know you, especially, as you've gotten older, and I've gotten dragged along on some crazy adventures. Yeah. This is something I live for,
Yeah.
These sorts of hunts were easy. I mean,
stuff would already be found. Yeah.
Well, it would already be found, but it wouldn't appeal to people like us, I think. I mean, we do it because it's hard. It's like what Kennedy said about going to the moon or whatever. Yeah. You lose some of the thrill of the hunt if the hunt is easy.
Sure, yeah. Well, and that's another big part of it for me is, obviously we're up here looking for a satellite or pieces of a satellite, but everything else about it kind of, satiates my curiosity about the world.
Yeah. This exists on a unique plane of science and friendship, and I'm, really without words. I am a fortunate person to be able to do this sort of thing.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's just lucky to find someone that shares those kind of things,